Hello and welcome back to Resident Evil 7 21 subgame under Banned Footage Volume 1, the DLC for Resident Evil 7. We are going to skip all of the prerequisites for an awesome time in Survival Plus mode. We had already done the 21, very narrative-driven story with Clancy as the main protagonist, watching the other person lose limbs, fingers, all sense of cardiovascular control after receiving a death shock. But in this particular iteration of the very same card-dealing, soul-stealing 21 game, we start with 6 cards. Like the 7 card. Return is very important. Destroy double plus, and I also call it with affection the shut the hell up and die card. A lot of these cards are inaccessible at the very beginning. Like, for example, if the very last thing you had done was complete the 21 minigame, then you would not have any of the rewards that will make you basically invincible for the duration of this game. I'm going to hit as the move, so that I may have a chance at drawing a trump card while also having a return in my card hand in order to bounce whatever it was if it would cause me to bust. Now, for all of the beginnings for 21, it also had done a tutorial on the matters of the 21 game is you can bust, you can draw, or you can make your opponent bust in order to lose the game. Survival Plus mode, especially after you have gotten all of these sweet rewards, you are basically invincible unless you make a serious error or you run into a situation that is so problematic, that has such a low probability of occurring that you will probably not ever lose in this game. Now, gotten to the real fun part. I think I have just been able to seize the 2 that I need in order to make 21. These 2 bet cards are very powerful. They stay on the battlefield, so they will cause you to tighten up your belt a little bit, mister, while you have a slow lunch of I'm gonna kill you, bagged man sandwich. Both of these bet cards will stay on the table, and you're welcome to add an additional 3 on the table in order to complete your relentless onslaught of your opponent. And now that I've made 21, I'm going to stay. Why? Because staying on 21 will cause one of the most likely ways to either torture or kill your opponent. Win the hand, Clancy. You can do this. The winner is... Oh, because you couldn't make 21, mister. No, you couldn't. That's right, I feel the pain. And, my God, have I heard that death, growl. I've been shocked many, many times. Oh, yes, I have. I've easily put 20 hours into this one minigame. I find it quite addictive for the problem-solving aspect. I'm really low on trump cards. I'm gonna hit. And get that 11. Yes, baby. Well, they didn't necessarily have to give it to me. They basically had. Because now that I have the 11, he doesn't have the 11. I like making reasoning observations like that while playing this game. Part of the reason why I find it so addicting is even at the max difficulty, you still have to solve a puzzle. That's what it comes down to when you have all the rewards unlocked, is you are so powerful that you have a different way of looking at the game. Like, for example, keeping a tally of how many times you have defeated your opponent in a row without ever busting or what have you. Hell yeah. Alright. So that means you have to have 10 in order to make this mister. And you just hit, which means that you definitely don't have 10. Now the question is, does he have 6? It may just yet matter at this point, because I don't have any trump cards in my hand that can change the win condition. If he does have 6 right now, I basically lose at this point. And that's one of the things you come to appreciate about the trump cards, the more powerful ones that you obtain.
Hit me.
So the move is the hit. So I get a trump card. Yay! I gotta change the win con card. And just the right one. Wow! I love this game. I bet you stood on 21. Now, let's see you try to stay on match 27.
I'm gonna stay.
Come on, do something. I mean, I could have thrown a shut the hell up and die at him. He would have had to pop a destroy card in order to not be tortured at this point. Because as you can see, my bet is still 0. I have run opponent after opponent simulations a total of 120 times. And in that 120 times, I got tortured. You know, for example, getting tortured, that needle goes anywhere but 0. Yeah, that snapped my streak at 120. But how do you defeat 119 opponents in a row and not ever get tortured? For example, I have a value less than 10 right now. If I had either a 10 or a 9, then I could make either 20 or 21 with the highest showing remaining cards in the deck. So the move is to press the R1 button on your PS4 controller and hit. So you have a chance at A, getting the highest card in the deck, which will put me that much closer to 21. He could be about to stay on 19, so that would be a push. Because he didn't hit, which suggests that the card that he has is high, what also is countering the fact that this is the first opponent, so the difficulty is minimized. And it doesn't look like any other move would really be effective right now because I don't have a change, the win con card. So I'm just gonna run it because, as you can see, he can't get a number higher than me, so he would be forced to draw. The highest card he could possibly have right now is 10, which means that he has a 19 or less, so I'm going to stay. So there. You can't torture me. And because of his stupidly low AI, he actually had a number other than 10. So as long as you still have as few trump cards as you have, you're going to be going through this syndrome basically until you draw either a trump switch plus or a harvest card. These cards will make it a lot easier to destroy opponents after opponents after opponents. Not when you're riding low like this. This is not the desirable stage. What would be desirable is, of course, is that I didn't have exactly the number card that I need in order to make 21, which of course is 6, the difference between 21 and 15. Let us do... I'm gonna do an exchange. Okay, so I did the exchange. Now that I did that, my value is less than 10, so I'm free to hit and get either a 10 or an 11 if it's still in the deck, and it won't cause me to bust. Perfect. Okay, that's cool. Let's see what he does. He's gonna stay, probably because I'm basically causing him to have a 20 or less. If I draw the 5 right now, that would be cool. But would he, though? He might. He might try to pull something on me if I try to protect myself. Except that I'm not threatening him. I could destroy anything that he throws out. True. Okay. I have to guarantee that I don't get tortured, which means I have to make either 21 to beat him, or I have to force a draw step, which is the second most likely thing that you're going to find after 100 trials of this minigame, is I am going to put a shield up, and I'm going to take a chance and try hitting. Maybe I'll draw a low card. Hey, I drew a low card. That was the best low card I could have drawn. Okay, now... my bet is 0, and he just stayed, which means that if I stay right now, he can't raise my bet anymore. And let's hope that his AI is just as stupid as I think it is. It's a draw! Oh, my pants. My pants! Don't scare my rectum like that's good sir. You Louisiana bumpkin. Although I gotta give this game credit that, like, okay, they do, use some Southern drawl stereotypes in Resident Evil 7, of course, because it was produced by Capcom, of all things, and they have done goofs at times, but they did a pretty good job at making all the characters believable, so they are not just caricatures. Let's try for this one. I do not have the option to draw into the 3 because he is showing the 3, and I love that logical assertion just by observing the table. Hence, I'm quite relatively well obsessed with this game. I'll give a thumbs up for that. Quite addicting. Yes, very fun. Let's maybe try going for the 2. So if he has either the 1 or the 2, then I will draw into a low card. And I know he definitely doesn't have 21 with what he has, but I don't think he has either the 1 or the 2. Did just hit, so he is showing a low card. I think the move actually, because I can't protect myself from busting, and there are only 2 possibilities against a large number of high cards that will cause me to bust right now. And I still don't have the gas in my engine right now, so we gotta just ride it out win the hand in order to draw trump cards. So let's do perfect draw into the 2. Okay, so he's not showing a 2. That's cool. I raised his bet by 6, so if he loses his hand, he is going to die, which is going to precede the game and cause me to draw another trump card at the start of my next round, and hopefully it's a trump switch. Let's stay, because at this point, he would have to hit again in order to have a chance. I think he's going to... He might do a shield assault. No, what? It could be a matter... Well, I mean, he could... Yeah, sure, you can stay. You can die, because you can only have a 10 or less, son. I can't do math.